Welcome to the Good Viral Podcast. Today we are interviewing Jordi Juanos, who is currently leading the initiative Plant for the Planet in Spain, and he has devoted his entire life to bringing people together with the aim to create community action to better the planet. Plant for the Planet is an international program that really promotes planting trees to help the climate crisis, while also creating leadership opportunities for the youth. Across the globe, Plant for the Planet has over 1,500 academies and in 75 different countries. This is where they teach about the climate crisis and help facilitate the youth with leadership initiatives. So far, there have been well over 90,000 children and youth who have been through their academies.
The first thing I want to ask you, of course, that you work sort of in connection with a larger organization, Plant for the Planet. And of course, you work with the Spanish or Plant for the Planet Spain. I want to focus a little bit more on Spain and what it is that you all are doing there, okay? Because of course, the story behind the larger organization is a little bit different. So what I'd like to know is the organization in Spain. So what happened that started or sparked the idea or the mission for you all to take up the effort in Spain and to start doing what it is that you're doing? What was the start of that?
In 2011, the boy that created in 2007 the movement of Plan for the Planet, a 9-year-old boy, a German boy called Felix Finbeiner, came here to Spain to make a speech in Girona, really close to Barcelona, where I'm really based. And imagine a child with 11 years old doing such a speech in front of 1,000 people, the main leaders of the companies here in Spain. And between those leaders, there was one whose name is Dr. Josep Santacreu, who's actually the CEO of one of the biggest insurance companies here in Spain, DKV. And he was absolutely in love with this boy, with this 11 years old boy, and said, okay, we have to take this idea and implement it here in Spain as soon as we can. That was in 2011. 2013, there was the chance that Josep decided to start with the implementation of this initiative. He looked for someone who can lead the idea in Spain. He invited me to a lunch, and he convinced me, in order to start with the development of this idea here in Spain. I've got my own work, and he convinced me, saying, okay, don't worry, it's just half time of your life. And okay, now currently it's not half time, it's not full time, it's full life, you know what I mean? So it's,
Yes.
it's more or less, it gives all my life, but it's okay, it's really nice. So here in Spain, we try to follow the ideas, the main objectives of the global movement of Plan for the Planet around the world. And we try to implement different actions, trying to be together with the global idea of the movement around the world, but specifically here in Spain with some conditions, with some, let me say, specifications that give sense to the idea, to the development of the idea here in Spain, because it's not the same in every country that we're working in. So it is not the same, for instance, the relationship with the companies here in Spain instead of Italy, Germany, or Madagascar. I don't know, whatever. It's not the same. So we following the same ideas because we strongly think that it's a potential. It's a strength for us to follow, to be part of this global movement, but with the local specification of Spain. As I said before, we have two main objectives. They are complementary. They are not more important one than the other, but the two main objectives are to reforest as a way to offset the CO2 emissions of companies and individuals here in Spain to become as soon as possible carbon neutrals, and also carbon positive as well. And on the other side, we are trying to identify, to capacitate, and to empower the children that we aspire that they become the future climate leaders here in Spain and wherever when we're Plan for the Planet Act. These are the two main objectives of our initiative here in Spain.
You know, I think it's really cool how overall Plan for the Planet is really focusing on the younger generation and the youth to bring up the leadership in climate change, because there are adults out there that are very stubborn. And so it's nice to kind of just bring that idea in a little earlier before, life gets in the way and things happen. So I think it's really cool. But also Plan for the Planet, you help build leadership skills on top of just learning about climate change. And I think that's really great. So when it comes to working with the youth to help move this movement of, hey, let's plant trees for the planet, I'm kind of curious, when it comes with working with children, sometimes it's like herding cats, right? So I'm curious, what did you guys find that you were working with these kids and then realized we need to do this entirely different or change some ways of how you work with them to help them become the leaders of tomorrow?
Yes. Personally, I think that this is the future of everything, not only the environment or the climate issues around the world, but I always saying the same. I'm repeating all the time that in 15 years from now, this meeting will be held for someone of the children that we are trying to train right now. And it is not demagogia. It's true. It's the reality. Actually, some of the children that we capacitate maybe 7 years ago or 6 years ago are actually at this moment, at the really moment, they are leading some different projects around the world. For instance, there's a young lady called Irina, who was actually with us for 3 years as a climate justice ambassador, but later she started to work with us as an internship. And now is leading one of the NGOs working with women in North Africa. So for us, because you can imagine, we are absolutely proud of this, because we really aspire that all the children that we're working with, they achieve their objectives. It doesn't matter where are they going to work. It doesn't matter for us. It's exactly the same for us that they will lead, I don't know, some NGO wherever, or they will be the CEOs of a company, or maybe there will be an actress or an actor or a singer, I don't know, and it doesn't matter. The idea is try to help them to capacitate as a leaders, and not only as a leaders, as maybe we can say that they have the opportunity to spread as much as possible the word of the environmental and the climate emergency and how to solve this. And hopefully we are trying to help them to identify or to reinforce their capacities in order to implement when they have in the future the capacity to decide, and they decide in the way that it will be better for the planet and for them, of course, because it's the same for us. The planet and them, there will be the same. They are on the same way. So this is the idea. We are trying to reinforce they identify and they reinforce their capacities with a lot of activities. We start always with an activity, with a workshop, an environmental workshop we call academy, where we identify those children from 9 to 17 to 18 years old that which of them they are the most interested, that they have the most capacities in order to develop these abilities regarding the fight against the climate emergency. Because not all of them are interested to work on this. Of course not. Exactly the same like the adults. There are some adults that they like football and the other ones that they hate football, So it's exactly the same for the children. There are some of them that they prefer another thing, and that's okay. It's perfect. But with those that we identify on these first workshops with these academies, we'll try to follow with the formation, with the trying to improve their capacities in order to become, as soon as they can, climate leaders in Spain.
Mhm.
The pandemic situation was really, how to say it, it stopped us a lot, this program, because at the end of 2019, there were, well, actually, along the night, the 2019, we worked with more than 1,500 children around Spain. Last year and this year, last year it was absolutely out. I think that we work with no more than 60 children because the pandemic stopped absolutely everything. On this year, we has been, I'm talking memory, but I think that there has been 200 children that they passed through our activities. And from now, by the end of this year, there will be 9 confirmed more academics, that about 400 to 500 new children will pass for our academies, and there will be a big opportunity for us to identify more children interested on this and climate issues. So we are refunding, let me say, refunding the network, the climate justice ambassadors here in Spain, trying to identify new activities that they can interest them, that goes from the academics to the climate entrepreneurship for children, the young entrepreneurship. And we hopefully will arrive next year, 2022, cross fingers please, to the numbers that we got in 2019. We aspire that at least 1,500 children more, they pass through our activities during the next year. So this is the idea that we are working with our numbers, and hopefully by 2-3 years, we will have again a number, critical mass of new young climate ambassadors here in Spain to work with and trying to impact as much as possible in their territories and their communities regarding the climate emergency.
What's so interesting for me, what's so compelling in the sense that it just really draws me, my interest to your company so much, is that typically we as as people rely so heavily on traditional education to sort of do the job. But I think that what we're really seeing is that that's not enough. Obviously, it's very important, but what I love is that your company is really in a very real way getting involved in the lives of these young people while they're still making decisions about what they're going to be doing with their lives, and helping them to get onto a course that's going to be really better for all of us, So it's very, very interesting. And then obviously, planting trees is maybe one of the best solutions possible for the, as you say, for the climate emergency, right? So it's an amazing combination of activities. So I want to ask about we were talking about this, and I'd like you to share it here on the podcast so I can understand better myself as well. Because I know that recently some things have happened very positively for the company, and so the question, and this is one that I normally ask everybody, but I think it's very relevant for you all right now, is what are you working on right now, or what is happening for your company right now that is giving you the most excitement about what's happening or the most satisfaction?
Well, thanks for the question, because it's as you mentioned, it's really relevant for us, because after 2 years pursuing the regional government of Andalusia, we finally get the agreement in order to plant 600,000 trees by the end of 2030 in one place in Andalusia, in the Natural Park of Doñana. We are really excited with this news, because it is not only to plant trees, that is our mission, as you know, but it goes a little bit farther than this, because as I mentioned before, our mission is on one hand to plant trees, of course, yes, but on the other hand is to identify and capacitate children. And with this agreement, we finally can start, let me say, to start again with the work and with the objectives of the foundation here in Spain. It has been really hard work, because it is not easy to get this agreement with the regional government of Andalusia because of different things. I think that it has been a little bit more hard to do it between the pandemic, because sometimes it's not easy to do it on the distance, you know. So when 3 weeks ago, today, 3 weeks ago, we finally get the agreement with the regional government. I said, okay, that's enough. I know some kind of relax, you know. So, but that will give us the possibility to start with to develop the different activities that we got in mind. So the first activity is to plan this year, by the end of 2021, 120,000 trees in this area. 120,000 trees, it's a lot of trees.
Totally.
Believe me, and you cannot imagine how much work it implies this, because it's not only to plant the trees, it's to get the lands, it's to get the project, the administrative permits, and so on and so on, the plans, of course, and so on and so on and so on. You cannot imagine. But that also allow us to start to plan the implementation of different educational activities in the area of Doñana. So before the end of December, we're going to implement 3 different academies in 3 different places in the surroundings of Doñana Natural Park, in a place called Mojácar and Matalascañas. Mojácar, no, it's Moguer, Matalascañas, and the other one I don't remember exactly the name. Excuse me, but this allows us to start again with the common activity of the foundation after the pandemic. Together with this, because things always happen together, you know, so it's an amount of work that you cannot imagine. We also signed 2 different agreements to plant more or less 25,000 trees more in Granada City, in the surroundings of Granada City, in another big project that we call the Green Belt of Granada. And finally, after a lot of work again, we finally get this agreement with these 2 different institutions. One foundation belonging to the church in Granada. It's a very nice place called Abadia de Sacromonte, with a big slope of about 30 hectares that has been really stressed because of the erosion and because of the loss of the vegetation. Now we are going to replant the forest. We're going to plant more or less 18,000 trees there on the following months. And with another institution, together with the City Council of Granada, we get another agreement to plant also 6,000 trees more there in the surroundings of Granada. So imagine, and there in Granada, we're going to implement as well 3 different academies by the end of 2021 as well. So we are together organizing the plantations, organizing the academies, and also reorganizing the network of these climate justice ambassadors. So we are really excited with this opportunity. We are
Congratulations!
Thanks a lot, because it has been not really easy. It has been really tough to get this moment, you know. So we got another that allow us also to start with another collaborator who is going to lead the ambassadors network from inside the foundation, and together with the ambassadors in different places of Spain, we are starting together to rebuild the strategy of the network. So we are going to imply on this new strategy the ambassadors, because finally they are the customers of this network. So we consider that they have to be involved from the very beginning on this rebuilding of the strategy of the network. So we aspire that with the academies in Doñana, the academies in Granada, another academies in another project in the southern, in the very tip of Spain, in the province of Cádiz, in a project that we are trying to recover the forest of the cork oak trees that they're suffering a great disease called la seca. We are trying to get on one side a lot of trees planted, but also on the other side a lot of children that could become part of the ambassadors networking here in Spain. This is a very exciting moment. This is a very, very busy moment, believe me, because as you can imagine, we got the news 3 weeks ago, just 3 weeks ago, and we have to plant around 140,000 trees and organize at least 10 new academies before the end of 2021. So
in the next 2 months at this point.
Yes, next 2 months, really, next 2 months. Well, actually less than 2 months because we are in the 3rd of November. So we are in a very exciting moment, but also in a very, very busy moment. The people of the foundation are working, as you cannot imagine. I'm absolutely proud of them, because now at this moment, one of them is in Doñana searching for different places to plant. Another lady is working in the coordination of the academies around Spain. And well, it's very, very nice to get this kind of team that help us, because the foundation is not me. It starts in the president of the foundation. I'm actually the director of the foundation, but the president is a very, very, how to say it, he's very convinced on the mission of Plan for the Planet here in Spain. But all the team and all the ambassadors as well we're absolutely together with the mission of the Plan for the Planet in Spain. It's really nice to see this at this moment. It's not easy, but it's really, really nice. And hopefully on the next month, we'll get some results especially with the ambassadors, because the trees will need a little bit more time to see them growing properly and so on, you can imagine.
Yes. And I find it's really interesting, just to kind of highlight something you said, which I think maybe our listeners may have missed, so I want to make sure they get it, is when you were talking about, you're planning on planting trees, cork trees in the south of Spain, that's helping replenish a dying species, or a species that's at risk of being endangered. And so, when we think of animals, we think about them being endangered and going extinct, but we don't think too much about the plants. And so I think this is really cool that your program also caters to helping replenish trees that are endangered or risk of endangerment. And so I think that's really, really something to help support, because, something we don't really think about. At least I don't think about too often, not going to lie. So I'm glad you said that, because I was like, oh, wow, you're right. That's something that people don't really think about. But in terms of how everyone can help support Plant for the Planet in Spain or in other branches around the world, to our listeners, how can, everyday people, do one or two things differently that can help your cause or help the environment more with planting trees?
Yes. About the first consideration that you mentioned, that's true. We are trying to not only plant trees, we are planting trees to recover some different endangered places and species, but also in order to recover the biodiversity of the places that we are planting. That's very important for us, because we are not planting trees. We are recovering the biodiversity of the places through the plantation of trees. This is very important. And also in order to offset as much carbon as possible with these plantations. This is very important for us. And we are trying to recover different places in all the projects that we are doing. For instance, in Granada, we are trying to recover the green belt of Granada, trying to improve the health of the city, because Granada is a very polluted city because its orography, because it's under the Sierra Nevada, the highest peak in Spain, and it has no winds. So the pollution remains there for a lot of days. So it is not this. It's not the solution. Maybe only to plant trees. It's also related with to avoid the cars and so on and so on and so on. But we help with the health of the city with this project. In Doñana, we are trying to recover more than 6,000 hectares that burned on 2017 in a big forest fires that destroyed a lot of hectares and animals and biodiversity. We, together with the natural park, we are trying to recover the biodiversity in the place, trying to recover not only the plant but also the fauna and so on. And in Cádiz, we are planting these oak trees, but not cork oak trees, but not only cork oak trees. We also plant other trees like pines and so on, because we discovered that the cork oak trees grow better under the shadow of different trees. So first we're going to plant pines that they grow faster than the other ones. And then in the following years, we're going to plant under these trees different species like cork oak that grow better under the shadow of these trees. So we are trying to recover the ecosystem. And regarding your second question, the second demand, if someone wants to collaborate with this project or whatever other project, whichever other project around the world, I think that it's quite easy. You know, it's in our own life, we have to be as much. We have to apply the common sense. Let me say the common sense as much as we can. So if we can take the public transportation instead of our private car, do it. Just do it. It's very simple. For instance, myself, I'm used to go to. I'm living in Barcelona, in the northeast of Spain, and all the projects are in the very south of Spain. So it's about 1,000 kilometers from here. I decide myself to travel always and only in train, because it's more sustainable than to travel in plane. I'm not saying that I'm not going to take any plane ever, you know, maybe yes, because sometimes I needed to take it. But if I can choose, I will choose the train. This is a very simple way to collaborate with this. In order to plant trees is not easy. Plant trees, it's the consequence of a lot of different procedures, but it is not an excuse. You can do it, but do it properly. You know what I mean? So for instance, in our website, we have in our download section, we have a small infographic about how to organize your own plantation, and there are different steps about how to do it. You have to go first to your city council, ask for places, ask for permits, and so on. Ask to a local tree nursery about the trees that you can plant there, and so on and so on and so on. So it's not easy, but it's not impossible. It's just to do it well, and this is maybe one of the things that you can do. If you want to collaborate with us, with Plan for the Planet Spain or Plan for the Planet Global Movement, now we got a website, a very nice website. It's called so it's www.plant/for/the/planet.org. It's quite complicated, I'm sorry. But that when you can go inside this website, there appears a map of the world with the different spots regarding the different plantations, project plantations around the world. There are more than 160 plantation projects around the world. 10 of them are our own projects, 3 in Spain, 1 in Mexico, 1 in Ghana, 1 in Madagascar, Ethiopia, and I don't remember exactly, in Brazil, and another one around the world. But the rest are different projects that we are supporting. Our commitment with them, we are such a marketplace for different plantation projects around the world. And our commitment is also that all the funds that you want to invest in those projects, they go directly and completely to their projects. We are just a platform to facilitate as much as possible the donation of money to plant trees.
Excellent.
Regarding our projects, about Plan for the Planet projects, if you help us through the app or through a donation, a direct donation to the different organizations, at least here in Spain, our commitment is also that all the money that you give us for the different project plantations in Spain, they also get the component to organize different educational activities together with these plantations. Okay, so we take a small part of each tree, and we create some kind of fund in order to prepare to organize these activities, these environmental activities with the children of the territory that we are working with the plantations. This is our commitment, and we are doing. Actually, the plantations that we're going to do in Doñana will help 3 different academics coming from these funds, and exactly the same for the rest of the project. This is our commitment. A part of this, there are some companies that, as part of their corporate social responsibility or about their climate politics, they want to help, or they want to support an organization like our organization. We are promoting the plantations here in Spain or in other places of the world, and they can help. If you are a company, you can help us with a donation of some money that it has different benefits regarding taxes here in Spain, at least. And that's it. If you want to collaborate, it's easy, So and I think that it's a thing that we have to highlight, because sometimes they say, "Oh, I don't know how to do it." Okay, don't worry. There's a lot of things. Just call us. Just write us. It's very easy to, not only Spain, Plan for the Planet Spain. It doesn't matter. You can help another organization. The objective is exactly the same. We want to leave the planet as better as we can for the future generations, and this is our main goal. I used to say that our project is not a current work. Our project is an intergenerational project, because the effects of the children that we identify now, they become leaders in 20, 25 years, and they're going to take the decisions for the planet. So we'll see the results of our work maybe in 20, 25 years, but that's it. We have to start in some moment. So that, for us, it's very important.
I want to touch really quickly on something, because there's always something that stands out for me more than other things when I'm doing these podcasts with guests. And what, quite honestly, what stands out more than anything talking to you today is that it's a lot of work. It's just everybody that we talk to is working. We're all working hard, and because we believe in what we're doing. But just I sort of want to state that when we're working on something that we really feel good about, then it lifts the burden of the work. And I think that one of the reasons that for us, for Good Viral to support your organization, one reason that's so important is because there's very few things out there that more directly affect the planet in a positive way than the 2 main focuses that you all have as an organization: planting trees, as you say, for biodiversity and for climate change, and also, like you said, helping with pollution and so many positive effects from that. And then also being involved with young people and giving them a focus and a direction on something positive. So, it's worth the work. So I just want to reiterate that and remind people that, that I think that a lot of people focus a lot of time on, sort of their own personal activities, and those things are obviously important, but sometimes we can combine those things. We can make our activity that we're doing something that is also helping others, be it other people, helping the planet, helping animals, helping future generations. We can, and I think this is a perfect opportunity for people to do that, is to really, like we always say, people can and want to do more. And so this is a perfect opportunity to do more. And it's fulfilling. It's worth it.
I would like to add that sometimes I also said that the trees, they don't plant by themselves. you know. So they have no legs, they have no hands. So
Yes.
we have to plant them. And exactly the same with children. So before these plantations, before these educational programs, there's a lot of work, and sometimes it is not easy. As you can imagine, by the end of 2019, there were a lot of activities that we are organizing here in Spain and wherever the global movement as well. But then came the pandemic and stopped it at all. So we have to survive. Let me say to survive for these 2 years. It has been not easy at all because the companies stop as well, the donations stop as well, the activities stop at all, you know. So
yes,
we have to develop some kind of resilience here in the NGOs, in the non-for-profit organization around the world, not only in Spain, around the world, exactly the same. And only maybe this is my personal point of view, but we'll try to run the organization as a company, but we are not. We are a foundation. We are a non-for-profit organization, but we are trying to develop the activities and develop the strategies as we are a company. And I think that maybe this could be this idea allow us to survive in these very, very hard moments, you know, because there are a lot of different organizations in Spain and I guess in everywhere in the world that they cannot survive. They cannot support the pandemic time. So I think that now it's very nice to say, oh, we are going to plant 1,000 trees or whatever, it doesn't matter. And we are going to develop different academics around Spain. Okay. But for the last 1 year and a half, we did not plant any tree and we did not have any activity, you know, because we cannot, of course, it was not our aim, but things happen when it happened, you know. So I think that it's very important to highlight this thing, and thanks a lot for this reminder, because after this, not only Plan for the Planet Spain, all the NGOs and all the companies, there has been a lot of work, a lot of very hard work, sometimes without seeing any solution in the future. I have to confess that sometimes it has been really, really, really tough to support this. But finally, with the appropriate people and with an appropriate strategy, we finally get the objective, the goals that we thought on it just 1 year and a half ago when we started with all this situation. Now it's a very nice moment, but I think that it's quite fair to highlight the work of the people of the foundation, not only my work, of course not, but the rest of the people of the foundation, the ambassadors that they support us in different ways. And now we get the results, and that's very, very nice, and that's very encouraging for us, you know, to that we have the opportunity now to develop all the ideas that we thought along this more than 1 year and a half time. That's true, and it's very important to do not forget this situation, because it's easy to remain on the nice places, but we used to come from very, very problematic moments that if we are well managed with the support of different people, individuals and companies and volunteers and so on, those people that you are addressing with this podcast, it's very important for us to thank them, all of them, their support, even in the very problematic moments.
And I think some people might forget, as we wrap our conversation up with this podcast today, some people may not immediately come to mind that the NGOs, the nonprofits, and these good causes, whatever they may be, were also put on hold for that 1 year and a half, or even in some areas, even still on hold today. So a lot of good work has been on pause. And to kind of put a pun in here, if you're looking for a bit more of a breath of fresh air, plant a tree. So, you know, I'm from the mountains in the United States, And so whenever I go home into the mountains and I'm just like, I can breathe so well, it's so great. And then I come back to Denver, and Denver is not a very highly polluted area, but pollution sinks in Denver because of the inversion in weather.
Yeah.
So it's harder for me to breathe, and I notice it so well. And some people may not, because they don't leave their city, or they're unable to leave their city right now. But it's just, it's time to start breathing again. And so I really appreciate you being on this podcast with us, Jordi, because it's really showing that there's action that can be taken. It's very simple and easy to do in lots of ways. And also for kids too, to find something more to do with their world other than just, science and English or Spanish. And so moving into something that has more impact today, as well as the future, which trees are really our future, because it takes quite a bit for them to grow. So thank you again, Jordi, for being on the podcast with us with Planet for the Planet in Spain. And we are so excited to continue the conversation. And for those of you who are listening, please check out all the social media links in our descriptions, wherever you're listening or watching this. Follow them, check out their website, check out the chapter in your area, whether you're in Spain or United States or wherever in the world. You have an opportunity to help plant some trees and to bring back some of the biodiversity, like what we talked about today, as well as including maybe yourself or your kids into something that brings real impact. So thanks again, Jordi, for being on the Good Bio podcast.
Yes.
Thank you very much to you. Thank you very much for the initiative, and thanks a lot to all the people that they're going to hear us, and especially for the kids that they're going to hear this message also, because they are the future. It is not demagogy again. They are the future. It's quite easy. If we support them, if we plant them, some seeds inside them, it will be a real benefit for the planet and for us.
Thank you for listening to the Good Viral podcast and being part of the conversation. If you are inspired by this episode, go to our website at goodviral.org, where you can find resources and listings from the episode to continue good efforts.
Like, comment, and share this episode to any or all of your social media channels. It's really easy to take a small action, and maybe you'll inspire a big result.
When good goes viral, the world gets better.